Well, folks, things are starting to look a little too obvious. Dustin Poirier personally asked the UFC for a fight with Ilia Topuria, a farewell bout, one last shot, a loud, beautiful exit against the new champ. Perfect, right? But the UFC said no, just flat out no. Now think about that. Why? Poirier is a name, a legend, durable, experienced, dangerous, the kind of guy who could actually give Topuria real problems, not just show up and fall, but drag him into a war and maybe kill the hype before it ever fully takes off. Now guess who the UFC will most likely give Topuria? That's right, Justin Gaethje, a fighter who's past his prime, not as sharp, not as stable. Sure, he's exciting. Sure, the fans love him, but he's not a threat to Topuria. He's a showcase. The UFC isn't just building hype around Topuria, they're curating it, carefully, brick by brick, favorable matchups, fading names. No mention of Arman Tsarukyan, no chance for Poirier, because the real test for Topuria is Arman, or Poirier, the guys who could break not just his game plan, but the entire media bubble around him. But the UFC won't let that happen. Right now, they need a hero, a new champion with 10 million followers. They need an undefeated Topuria, as long as it makes sense financially. But sooner or later, he's gonna have to face a real contender. And when that happens, we'll see who's truly the champion and who's just a product of marketing. One way or another, this will all come to a head. And the UFC? They're clearly trying to build Topuria up even more for what could be the biggest clash of the next decade. Topuria versus Islam Makhachev. Of course, that only happens if Islam captures a second belt at welterweight. But if he does, then we're looking at the biggest fight the UFC has ever seen, a fight that might even break the record set by Khabib versus McGregor. Because in the end, Topuria is the new Conor McGregor. And Islam? He's the new Khabib.